Greetings.
Hello.
Hey guys.
All of us.
Boy, it's been so long since I've seen you.
Right.
Oh, doesn't it
Just
feel
last night.
years?
What?
24 hours.
In case you didn't know, these are the ladies from the Fox Den, Gina and Mama D. Gina B and Mama D. And I'm Raven, and that's Jessamy.
Hello.
So we decided to join together. And I just want y'all to know that Gina is responsible for 99% of the graphics here.
Okay.
I teach, you know. She asked me, how do I do things? And then I just created some things for her, you know. She's doing wonderful with them.
Yeah.
Told her how to make the video, and she makes the videos beautiful now.
Yep, they are beautiful. I love it. I love the candle being lit. Like that's my favorite.
And
I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it really is.
Although last night on your show, I saw how you ended your show, and I was like so jealous because the video is so beautiful. So I loved it.
You make me an audio.
I happen to agree. Judith, that Gina is a badass.
She is. She actually is.
Oh, come on.
But I don't know if you guys saw last night's show, but it was truly amazing. Truly. I don't know, Jessamy, if you've had a chance to see it yet.
I was able to watch bits and pieces. I had to kind of break it up a little bit through the workday. So
yep.
It
was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had Vivian Chavot on, and she's a hybrid, avatar, half human, half Arcturian. 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 Whatever she is, but it was really cool. It was a cool show. I learned.
It was.
I did.
We brought Raven on because she knows more than Mama D and myself know, and
which is not. I mean, I don't know a whole lot, but I know a little bit.
Which was a little bit more than we knew. So what she was talking about, though, was energy manipulation, which we all know about.
Yeah.
Basically.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So it's just a new spin on the same energy that
a different angle of it. So yeah.
Yeah. But it was good. It was really good.
Yeah. Well, you guys work with you and Jessamy. You work with energies in a very different way. And Mama D and we work with energies in another way.
Yep.
Yes. We have, ready? Duke it out. We have paranormal versus Reiki.
Well, I do both. So paranormal and Reiki. So I'll be in the middle. You can pull me apart.
I do pranic healing. That's energy manipulation.
Gina does pranic healing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we all have a certain amount of healing.
Yeah.
I think for every aspect of the woo-woo, paranormal, and everything else you want to call it, I love you too. We're healers from the foundation, because whether we're healing the mind, the body, or the soul, people have questions about paranormal, and you guys answer them, and that helps soothe them, helps ease them. So to me, everything that we do is a form of healing.
Exactly.
Totally. Like we were saying last night too, that it's all necessary. Every single aspect in this field and what everybody does, it's all necessary
100%.
to help everybody, either heal, pass on.
It's not always beautiful either. It's not always, wonderful, mystical. Sometimes it's nitty gritty.
Yep.
It can be like, the hurting part of the soul can be ugly and terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And but it has to be loved anyway.
Exactly.
And,
right. Well, that's okay.
People have to see that.
That's the thing to talk about right there is when we go in as paranormal investigators and we do have, all right, we're going in one like a counselor, right?
Mhm.
So we're going in, we're talking to the people first, obviously.
Right.
So we ask them, what's going on? What's going on between you and the spirit? And then we go and we get all that information and we write it all down and we have all our notes and everything. It's like, okay, then we get them out of the picture. Now we talk to the spirits. We say, come on. Okay. They said you're doing this and this and this. What do you say? You know, and that's how you talk to them. You talk to them like I'm talking to you. And you get the story, the full story. If this is an intelligent hunt, they will tell you. But if it's a nasty one and they're just bitter, you know, and they could be bitter passing through, or they could be bitter residents. You know, it's like it's up to us to find this out. But our ultimate goal is, okay, how is this going to be rectified? Is it going to be you stay in this house and the people leave, the people stay in the house and you leave, or we find some way that you can coexist? That's our ultimate goal. And sometimes they do need to be exercised if they're that nasty.
Right. And I'm not one of those investigators. I don't go around. I don't like to throw around the D word.
Nope.
It's kind of like the armchair psychology of Facebook University. You know, everybody's a narcissist. You know, selfish equals that doesn't work. So just because something is haunted and you don't like it doesn't make it a demon.
Totally.
But I mean,
the minority and not the majority.
Exactly. I mean, it's always, you know, in the back of my head, but the ones that have always got me, the true ones that I've come across have slipped past me and been around me for months before I knew of them. And I didn't realize that they were there. Yeah, I didn't realize that they were there until it was far too late and I was flat on my back trying to survive. And now I'm like learning the signs a lot better, but they're sneaky. They're sneaky and they're not going to rattle doors and chains and bump in the night, you know, for right away. Like that's not how it works.
No, wait, because you know what I do with my aura regressions is we find entities within people's bodies, and you're saying the same thing that you're doing. We are finding this as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Cord cutting and taking attachments off and taking attachments out of buildings and protecting ourselves in the meantime. So in our field, like I ground and shield twice a day, every day. In the morning, that's how I start my day. And at night, it's how I end my day. You know, like get rid of the
here.
Crap of the day.
Do the same thing in the morning and in the evening.
Yeah, because the night they're going to come in because, you know, if we're not listening to them during the day, they're going to definitely want to communicate with us at night.
That is my busy time at night. They wake me up all the time.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I got to yell at them sometimes. They just, you know, I need my sleep. That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, Gina has spirits in her house.
I do too.
And they're like residents of it. She'd be like, okay. I still say they just better make sure they get out of my room when I move in.
Right. I grid and I ward very, very well. And the spirits that usually come in like my room where I sleep are generally just pretty much looking for directions, or they have a goofy question or something that's I don't have an answer for. But
they just need to work on it.
Yeah, every so often, like the other night I had one that woke both me and my son up, and she was not nice. And I got rid of it quickly, but my son sees them now too. And it's gotten to the point where the traffic is so heavy in and out of my room / office that even my parents, who didn't believe before, are now seeing people walk in and out. And they're like, what is this? And I'm like, it's part of it. And I clear them out and things like that. But, you know, when they need the healer, the help, then they come to me. But there are times where I can make them stop.
But you can designate an area for them to do that. You can keep them out of the rest of the home. Mary Jane, does this sound a little familiar to you?
Yeah, doesn't it?
I've been telling her this. But you can seal your whole house so that they can't come in at all.
Right.
You know, But you can leave one room open and say, look, I will commune with you at this time and on this day, and I'll, don't fight over it. Talk amongst yourselves, because they will. Right. Say, all right, let's have this conversation. Give them like a day. Give them a good 5 hours of your time, really, and they will agree.
Yeah. And I should do more like the business hours. The my space is limited in my home. Currently living with my mother and father until my house is built. Hopefully, not hopefully, I will be moved into my home by Thanksgiving. That's the goal. So then I'll be able to have an actual office space set aside specifically for that. For the time being, they just they find me wherever I am. So, and that's okay. That's my job too, but I have to sleep.
Yeah. I had a friend.
You do have to make the boundaries, right? Your mama makes her boundaries. She makes her boundaries very stern.
Absolutely.
I had a friend who used to have, for her, it was spirits would come to her and talk to her to want to give messages. And it was nonstop. She was constantly, as much as she tried, she wasn't bombarded. So she had this way of thing, is that when she would wear a certain bracelet, which means for spirits, that's her open time. But when she wasn't wearing that bracelet, they were not allowed to come through. And they pretty much abided by everything unless there was an emergency type of thing. She only said, I think she said she had one where they kind of like jumped in, and it was worth the news that she got. But that is simple as that. Just having that one thing, like Gina says, one room, or just that bracelet. Everybody gets the idea of it. So yeah.
I do the same. Oh, sorry.
Can I say a story about a spirit emergency?
Yeah.
They saved me from a fire. This story is in a book. And Joni's one of the books up here on my shelf here. I got 2 stories in there. But the spirits of my house saved me from a fire. I was out working. This was after my husband passed away, and I was working like a dog because I had to take up all the pieces and pay all the bills and do all the work myself and finish his jobs and my jobs and everything. So I'm doing this basement. I'm tiling the floors, and I'm cutting baseboards, and I'm painting walls and putting in doors and doing everything. So and it's a big basement. This was a lot of tiles to lay, and I had to go run up the stairs and cut the tiles, and run down the stairs and put it in, and run up the stairs and cut the tile. And because I couldn't do it in the house because my saw sprayed water all over me. I got a better saw since, but anyway. But I'm working my butt off, and I went home, and the lady was a nudge, and I really wanted to get this job done, and I really wanted to get the money. So I'm cutting the baseboards at home. It's winter. There's snow outside. I have my van parked outside my garage, which was my workshop, and all my vents are closed because it's winter time, and I had planned on cutting the boards at her house in her garage, but I took them home instead. So now I got sawdust all over the place, but I had a heater on. Okay. It's a portable flame heater, bullet heater. Okay. And I had the door open, and I thought, I think the sawdust is laying down enough, but I'm going to leave because I had the door open while I'm doing it. It's cold in there still. I said, oh, I'm so tired because I worked so hard all day. I'm going to go up, and I didn't even change. I'm still I'm covered with paint. I'm covered, like half of me was covered with the schmutz from the cutting the tiles, and it would spray the stuff on me. So I'm like all crusty, almost looked like a half of a statue on one side, right? And the other side's clean. But I just went up, and I just was sitting down, and I'm like falling asleep, and the spirits would make noises in my house when they wanted to talk to me, right? Now I'm like, I am tired. I want to just sleep. Leave me alone. Not available. They're getting louder. They're getting louder, and they're getting louder. And then it sounded like they were like banging pots and pans together down in my basement. So I get up and I stomp down the stairs like a 2-year-old in a tirade, like, what the hell? Oh, sorry. What do you want? And then I open the door to my workshop, and the particles in the air were just about to combust. Like you could see it, that they were turning, And I was like, oh shit, so excuse me again, but I opened the door, and I shut that heater off, obviously. I took a leaf blower that I had there and blowing all the sawdust out the door and everything. I made a mess of everything. I had a vent on the wall. I had to unscrew the whole thing so that I could turn that on to suck air out of there and everything. But after I got done doing that, which took me a good amount of time, and I'm still tired, but now I'm wound up because, God, I could have died.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I go upstairs and I'm like, of course you say thank you, multiple times. I'm like, thank you guys, thank you guys, thank you guys. I'm sorry I yelled at you. I'm sorry I didn't mean to sound like an angry 2-year-old. I know I'm tired. I'm just really stressed, but thank you. And then I went upstairs and I sat down in my chair and I'm listening, and it's like, not a peep, not a sound, peaceful and quiet, and they left me alone the rest of the night.
Nice.
Right? So they can be helpful.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And
so I keep hearing about this, Gina. Tell me what Paracon is.
Oh, my Paracon is May 18th and 19th at Penhurst. We have so many people coming. We have like Project Fear for ghost detectives and things, and ghost hunters. We have Project Fear, ghost hunters, Ghost Brothers, Kindred.
Good girl.
And then we have Maria Mayer, the Bigfoot hunter girl. She's on the searching for Bigfoot online. Patty Negri, she's the psychic for Zach Bagans. We have some stars coming, like Bob Elmore, who's Leatherface, Tyler Main, who's Michael Myers, CJ Graham, who is Jason, Paul Taylor, who is Pinhead, Jessica Chabot, she's Exploration X. Chris Williams is one of the old ghost hunters. So many people are coming. It's like it's impossible to fit everybody on there. There's other special guests too, and probably a few more, different things happen before it comes out.
I'm sorry, I have to interject here. The most important person in that whole show, in that whole Paracon,
Ghost Brothers.
No, it's Gina. Right?
Yes.
And Penhurst Asylum, man, I haven't been there yet. Like, that is on my bucket list.
Yeah,
Penhurst and Trans-Allegheny.
We had like, Trans-Allegheny is amazing. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I got my one and only heat anomaly there. Like I'm the queen of the flare. I got apparitions walking on the flare, void of heat, all purple. I've got one grew up in my friend Sabrina, purple. Dark as dark can be. All this stuff. But at Trans-Allegheny, I got my first heat anomaly.
That's
and
cool.
Footsteps walking all by themselves, and burnt the back of Adam's neck as it walked by Adam, who's in the wheelchair.
Yes.
And insane. We could talk about places forever. But Penhurst, though, like last year we had about 4,000 guests. This year we probably will have 5,000 or better. We have more areas opened up, more buildings opened up. We have investigations during the day, investigations during the night, history tours going on. We have happy hour with all of those stars from those movies. We have, little VIP tent for, like if you go to penhurstasylum.com and look at the ways that you can buy tickets, that's like all the things that are available to you all weekend. Or you can come in, and we got hundreds and hundreds of vendors, and I'm vending as well. So it's like, for me, it's like 3 days no sleep, ongoing, everything.
Oh, for sure.
And Haggis Hunter asks, do these just happen in the U.S.?
The Paracons are everywhere. This is Penhurst. This is ours. Like in the U.S. I think where are you? Because MJ has Mia Paracon, something like that. What's it called? It's MJ who does it. I'd have to look that up. I could put it in the chat after if I remember what that was, but that's in the UK. But they're everywhere. I mean, they have, this Scarecon and Comic Fests and all that. And we have like the three big ones I say on our coast are us in May, which is Penhurst Paracon. In July, the Bash.
In Scotland.
Okay, I'll have to look into that. I'm sure there is. I want to go
Yeah.
to Scotland in the worst
Oh,
way.
big time.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am so excited for you. If you ever need help, I kind of know a girl that's really, really, really into the paranormal
yeah,
kind of thing.
Really?
Uh-huh.
yeah, 100%.
I wonder who she's talking about, though.
I don't know.
I think about that now, don't we?
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll
Absolutely.
say that. You guys, you got a big house. Who is the Haggis Hunter? You got a big house? You house us?
Right.
We'll be the castles.
No, we'll have to find a really cool haunted castle. I don't care if I'm sleeping in moss and rain.
Right.
That's fine. If I can sleep in a castle, I'll do it. I'll
Yeah.
camp out.
Yeah, I would too. To be there, I would. And I don't do that
Absolutely.
anywhere else, but I would there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just, but they are everywhere. But like I was saying though, so between Penhurst, the Bash, Gettysburg Battlefield Bash in July, and Para-Unity in November in New Jersey, those are the three, bigger ones, and fun and for causes and everything. Like we ours is to benefit Penhurst. So all the proceeds go to renovate the place. And if you ever looked at Penhurst history, they had so many buildings at the beginning, and had to knock down a lot of those buildings because they just weren't able to be fixed anymore. So the ones that are, though, they are putting all the money and effort into it. And now Devon even has lights. I mean, it's like one whole floor. It's painted. We were painting floors and everything else. Painted floors, painted walls, put in lights. I mean, it's like, there's still no running bathrooms, but hey,
Right.
for a hot location, what more
Yeah.
would you want? But we have outside areas, and
Mhm.
can I just say that Penhurst, if you guys like haunts, like to go through the haunts in October in haunted places and locations, they have the best haunt I've ever been to in my life. It took like a couple hours to go through the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you have like a regular pass and a VIP pass. The VIP pass, you get to go through everything, and it's like you're going through the tunnels, and they are done like professionally. And there's so much smoke. It's so scary.
I love it.
That's what scares me, going through those things and you don't know what's going to come at you. The human part of it, but also there's spirits in there too. But
Yeah,
they have stuff in there that the show Tanked on TV has all the aquariums. There are 2 of those there.
Ooh.
I tell you what's in them, but there are 2 of those there. One is oh my god! I can't even. We used to go to Haunted Overload, and I thought that was great. That's like baby this compared to oh my god at Penhurst.
Yeah, I've been to we have in excuse me, in Columbia City, which is maybe 20 minutes away from me, a little bit westward. There is the old jail, and every October they make it into like the haunted jail. It's a really big popular attraction. It's been going on for 20 odd years. Wonderful, and it is deliciously haunted as well. The jail was built, it was mid 1800s, I believe, or early 1800s. But I remember going through, I did a hunt there a long time ago, and the spirits were so excited because, part of them were like the grumpy old men. They would leave for a little bit. They didn't want anything to do with it. And then the others were like, this is what we really enjoy. This is a party for us. And they utilized it. They loved the energy. And, it was a jail, so some of them were a little bit squirrely than they should have been. But,
of course.
But it literally livened the place up. Even though people were scared, it was a thrill scared. So it brought a better energy to the place.
Totally.
And so it's always neat to see that. And then I've noticed that sometimes scary looking spirits that will come through. I've seen a few children that were like, well, we thought this is what we're supposed to do. They in their spirit mind, they were like, well, people are supposed to be scared of us. Or so it's like they dress up and they do like Halloween in their universe or parallel, whatever you want to call it. And so they're like, we didn't mean to scare everybody. we just thought that's what we were supposed to do. So I've come across a few of those,
Yeah,
and that's always
that's gonna be
interesting.
me. I'll come visit you.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
When
I
I do my big Halloween display, I'll take a couple of my little ghoulie guys
Yeah.
with me.
exactly.
Come visit you.
Mhm.
She'll be chasing us up the stairs after the lights go out.
That's
Exactly.
right.
100%. 100%.
Remember that
So,
the last one.
Yeah,
gets-
yeah.
I'll be messing with the lights. I'll unscrew them and then put them back. And
I'll be grabbing people's butts. It's like, I'll be like,
I'll get the cat hopped up and make all the cats do zoomies at the same time.
oh my
that
God.
would be hilarious. I'll watch all the cats doing this. Like, what's here? Oh my god!
Right.
But
We're just giving away all of our secrets now.
I'll be dressed as a fox. Yeah, you can't really see them, can you? No,
Right.
they're up on my top shelf up here. I've got 2 big fox masks.
That's so funny.
Oh my god! But we went to a place. We were at the Oliver House, and they have dogs in there. That's dog ghosts, and we had our cat. You know, one of our trigger prop cats, because we have Vortex Ghost Care. You know, making all the equipment. So we have dogs and cats. But we put a cat on the table, and the cat kept going crazy. And I'm like, well, who's? And I'm not getting any EVPs, so no one's owning up to the cat. Then I found out afterwards that they were ghost dogs, and they actually have their collars and everything. There's like a little passway, and there's like kind of a little closet, like I don't know if it was hidden before or whatever, but the collars and some information and whatever for the dogs were in there. And there's like Native American stuff going on out back, and we were getting everything. It's like that, you know, you never know. It doesn't have to be a ginormous location to get all kinds of evidence. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And
Oh, cool.
yeah, I mean, animals stay around too, for sure, and especially when they're very protective of their people, their homes. They don't, you know, they don't move on is like everybody thinks they do. You know, not always.
No,
I still
think
My
see
dog Lacey, kept leaving me little bones that I stepped on when I get out of bed. I have the whole container full of everything that she left me.
Yep.
right. Yeah,
She had little light bits in her cereal her food that she didn't like, the little hard little light bits, and she would always spit those out. So once she found all the food in the house and left the food and little bones and treats and everything, she found a couple light bits and put them. Like, where the heck are you finding all this stuff, Lacey? I don't know, because you know I vacuum all the time, and it's only right there. When I get up, I'm stepping on them.
Yeah, exactly. That's why.
You know, and
That was Lacey's way of saying, "Hey, Mom, I'm still here." It's like stepping on a Lego.
Yeah, I even got a video of her where she was on my bed, and I was video chatting with 2 of my girlfriends, and I'm looking, and I said, I think Lacey just jumped up on the bed, and I said, Lacey, lay down in your spot, and I turned the camera, and I had the camera on it, and it looked like it just, you know, the bed went, oh, and I'm like, guys, are you seeing this? And they're both like, wow, yes, you know. I'm like, oh, it's a baby.
Raven, we're gonna have to get you in on some hunts with this. So
And Mama D.
I think that would be a lot of fun to take you along. I would love to see how you utilize your gifts and your knowledge and how you would converse with them, because the way that you do everything is just so wonderful and beautiful, and it's clear. It's very, very clear and bright.
It is. That's because that's the way she is. With everything else, you know, it's like you hear about Raven, and it's like it's like a window shade popping up.
Oh, thank you.
Because I love
you. Know, sometimes with what we do on the paranormal side, it seems like there's a lot of like darkness and shadow, and you know, and of course you hunt at night, so like your mind just automatically goes to dark and shadow, and then you know, a woman like Raven you are light and like glitter. Even like I when I think of you, I think of like particles, so it's almost like glittery light. It's not just light, and
I would love to see you. You're making me blush.
I'm sorry. I don't know where. Okay, you know me. You know, sometimes I get stuff, sometimes I don't, and all of a sudden we were talking about, and all I heard was she's a unicorn part, sparkles and stardust. Where the hell did that come from? But
Oh, I love it.
I love unicorns, and that came from one of those angels, you know.
Mhm.
You a unicorn.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she works with the angels. That was one of the things I saw a psychic, and he looked at me and goes, "You are so freaking bright." He's like, "I have to adjust to see you because I have two really bright angels behind me."
Mhm.
And then the entourage, which was my late husband's entourage, not mine. I'm more of a loner. He was not.
That's like a whole bunch of men following you around, Jay.
You have an army, is what it is. Yeah, you got an army. You got backup.
Yeah.
So,
But I rely more on the angels. Trust me.
yeah,
The entourage.
yeah. I just
But
recently.
I got my best evidence ever. All of my very best evidence has been during the day, not at
Yep.
night.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
I'm
Absolutely.
going to investigate at night. I mean, not saying that I don't get stuff at night, because I do. You know,
Right.
I investigate at night because everyone else is in bed and it's less interference with us.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
makes sense.
Absolutely. And and most of us work during the day too. If I could, I'd do it for a living. I'd love to, but it's not quite how it works. But yeah, I mean, they're just as active during the day. Like, time doesn't stop for them.
No, it doesn't.
It
So,
doesn't.
yeah.
It doesn't. And it's tough too. Like we have ghost detectives, so like filming so different than just investigating. I had to be schooled on this filming part of it. It's like I can't stop and start an investigation. I'm investigating. I am here to do this is my job. I'm not going to wait for a camera person. You know what I mean? I'm going to do what I want to do. And that didn't go over too well.
Somebody didn't like something Gina had to say. How disrespectful can they be?
Gina, I have to ask, do you go in to a place blind? Meaning, like, do you read up on any of the history, or do you just want to go and do a walkthrough before anything?
No, I find out stuff. I learn about the history. I learn about how old is the building. I try to get the claims of it, from various people before I go in, and then I make up my own mind still. But if someone is going, I don't like a frustrated spirit. I really don't. I don't think it's fair to the spirit for me to go in. I'm not that psychically able. You know what I mean? So I don't want a spirit going, no, I'm this, and I'm asking, well, who's with me? And, I can at least have a couple names, it's like, is this the family of this? Is this, is this the person that, say you're at the jail, right? All right, is this Red that's in that last cell? Is this, whoever it is that the claim is.
Right.
So like I would rather have them start interacting right away and feel more comfortable, and I'll get more. And then or they won't be at all. They'll be like, no, I am this, and then I have to listen to it. And then I will explain that to them that, if I can't see you and if I can't hear you and if you're not strong enough to put that out because, I'm not that gifted.
But didn't you do investigations with Pookie and he would go in blind? Yeah, so she would do all the research, but she had a psychic medium, an amazing dude. Pookalicious.
Yeah,
he would go in blind. He wouldn't get anything, and he would give what he gave, and generally it would coincide with technically with alert.
He'd write a name down and see, like, it's Michael with a mustache, right? And write it down, and because he could see the person. And then like if we had people around us, I'd be doing like a spirit box and I'd say, is your name Michael? And it would say Michael, you know what I mean? And it would just answer every freaking thing that he said all the time. All the time. Awesome. And I'd say, do you have a mustache? And I think they said something about handlebars. So that was at the Yankee Peddler. That was me and Pookie and Tammy, and we had the best. It was just that Echo box too that we were using. It was like the best session ever.
Yeah,
I love it.
To answer your question, Mary Jane, no, I have never been, but I have from time to time seen a couple entities, and I feel them. But I have never been on a ghost hunt. And my co-host hasn't taken me on one. I don't know why.
I'm getting
Talk about
there.
a dig. Sorry.
It's
We're
been
in the same
crazy
town.
busy. Yeah,
We're in the
I
same
am going through withdrawals right now, honestly, because um my partner that I have the paranormal business with, she's a travel nurse. She's in Tennessee at the moment on assignment. She's been down there for a couple months. Um I'd like to just drive down to Tennessee because I mean that's Civil War Central down there.
Yeah, that's another
We
place I'd like to get to too,
yeah,
to
yeah.
investigate. When it's
I did go on kind of a rescue mission. She got stranded down there, and I went to go get her. And you betcha that we found a ghost tour and a battlefield to kind of check out. But there are some places, like there's a really tiny sweet little cemetery just a couple miles from my house that we found by accident during farm season couple years ago. And we kind of got care of it. So I think Raven and we could go and investigate that. But it's kind of hard when you're solo. It seems harder to get into a lot of places because I'm not on a huge team. I'm on TSPI, but it seems like trying to get more people synced up is more difficult. And then if you're on your own, it's a lot more expensive. So
it is. We used to have, we had bigger teams. Like my first team, we were Staten Island Paranormal, and then it was a 3D Paranormal, and then I started my own GB investigations, and then it was I would just I just want to go by myself, honestly, But yeah, we had bigger things, but we would all pitch in. And get the bigger locations. Trans-Allegheny is expensive, and then they make you pay for insurance, and you got to sign all these waivers and stuff. But you get the little piece of paper when you go in there, you get admitted, it's like a whole experience, So I was admitted for nymphomania.
Oh, wow.
That's
special.
I like that. That's what was on my
jealous. Like, if you are not the kind of person that would be in some sort of asylum 100 years ago, are you really living?
Yeah.
So now, Gina, you have to admit, now you come from New England just like I do. Yep. Massachusetts and Rhode Island is full of paranormal. Yes. I mean, growing up in my neighborhood, we experienced a lot of paranormal things. I just never went on a ghost hunt,
All right. Well, if you go back to Rhode Island, go to Precious Blood Cemetery. Ooh. And that's the Stigmata grave is there.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like we need to take a road trip, Raven.
And if I go to New England, I'm going to Salem. I'm sorry.
Well, there you go. Like there is, if you would go to
parts of you are in Salem, aren't they?
Oh yes,
yeah, absolutely. And my
Freya, she's in Salem.
Yeah. Like Raven and I both have family history in Salem. Like we've crisscrossed in Salem in the past, and I've always thought that was so cool. So
Kelly the Boston Spangler.
So yeah, we'll definitely have to go out, and you show me the cool places, I'll show you how to do the hunting, and I know that you will connect when you get into that mode, because when you get into it and you're in that like spiritual psychic mode, you can feel yourself being shifted, like almost to the side or even drop down. That's how I know I'm in the right spot, is when I feel like I've been dropped into my body, and then
I know that feeling.
My feelers just go out, and I know that you will connect big time when you get in that mind frame, and you are going to be so wildly powerful, and I can't wait to see it.
I know, you got to film her.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a thermal camera or a FLIR or a thermal?
I don't think I have a thermal.
That is the most amazing tool.
Yeah, that's the only one I don't have.
I love. I do have so many apparitions on the FLIR. It's just, people ask you, do you really believe? You really think this is real? It's like, well, yeah, I
Yeah.
got so much evidence,
Absolutely.
proof that you can watch and see in the
Mhm.
apparitions walking and everything else, with this thermal imagery and then regular imagery and the thousands of EVPs and,
Oh, yeah.
but I mean, but it is all energy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You feel it too. Like, I always say this story on our show that I used to go to my friend Chris's house and I couldn't stay there because the energy was so high. Because this girl's spirit there, she died and she was there and she was so wound up about where her stuff was going. And Chris, I said, just reassure her that her stuff went to the right place, tell her. And then she still wouldn't leave the house. And I'm like, I can't stay here because this place is like, ugh, it's just like someone turned that squelch up on a radio. Zee! Awful. I went all the way down the hall. Her hall was so long. He's sitting in the kitchen. The hall was so long. Went all the way down there into her room. And I said, I was just explaining. I said, listen, I'm going to bring some really powerful friends of mine to come over here to help me, to help you, to cross over so that, that you don't have to stay here. You don't have to be all upset like this. Your journey is continuing. Your friends are waiting for you. Your family's waiting for you. All this stuff. I was explaining the whole thing, just what we were going to, and I said the process that we were going to use and everything. And all of a sudden she left. And it was like someone took that knob that was way up here and went poof. And it was just like, whoa, the whole house just poof, just like what you drop into your body. It was like that. He felt it in the kitchen. It was quiet in the house. And he's like, what happened? I said, she left. So I didn't have to go get the cavalry to come and help her go.
Oh, you made her feel comfortable. So that everything was going to be cool. So that's why.
Yeah.
Yep. She needed reassurance. And,
Yeah.
sometimes they need like almost like that tough mother figure, like, listen, you need to do this, and this is why. Yeah. And you've got people waiting on you, so you need to hurry up. Kind of like getting them out the door first thing in the morning. Where's your shoes? Where's your shoes?
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Well, no, we did have something in our garage for a while. And it kept turning on the alarm system and the alarm system is not connected, so if you turn off the power, the alarm system comes on and it's like crazy. And then it would turn the lights on and off in the garage and you could hear footsteps. And so this went on for like a couple of weeks. And finally I went out to the garage and I said, look, I saw what you did. And now apparently I'm just going to tell you this. If you can play nice, you can stay here. But if you can't play nice, you need to leave. And apparently you don't know who you're dealing with.
There you go.
I haven't heard anything since, except for, and it was so hilarious, we have cameras all over, the place. And we had, the fire in the house, and Paul Davis came out and they were loading their van. They had the garage door open and they were loading their vans with stuff. So they would open up the van door, they would put the stuff in, they would turn around and the van doors would close. And that happened quite a few times, and the one girl looked at the other one. She's like, why do you keep closing the van door? And she's like, I'm not closing it. And I had to laugh when I looked at it on camera.
Do you sense anything? I think this is a teenage boy doing this. And that's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Ooh, hello. Yes. Confirmation.
Yeah, definitely male. 100%.
Yeah. I got angel bumps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you said that, yeah. But
So,
and I mean, it was so hilarious to watch it on the film. And I wanted to say something to him, but I thought, no, I'm not going to say anything.
Nah, I cut out my phone. Just keep watching.
I just show him the film later.
Yep.
But it was funny. It was so funny. And every once in a while, you get something.
Yeah.
But you guys live so close. Jessamy, do you go to her house?
I've been over there before. We had, was it Mabon celebration over there?
Yep.
Yep, the fall equinox.
see anything, sense anything, feel anything?
I didn't. But when I walked into her Reiki room, I looked up and I'm like, I love your grids. And
Oh,
that was
cool.
the first thing I said. And she was like, you can see them? And I'm like, oh yeah. Because they were like neon lights to me. Like that's how I saw them. And I'm like, this is awesome.
Yep.
I mean, I didn't feel the spirit out in the garage, but like, I was more focused on everything in the house. Raven's house is absolutely amazing, especially her basement. Like, she has another kitchen in the basement, ladies. Like,
Okay, so we know where we're moving into.
Exactly. Who doesn't want that second kitchen in the basement? Like,
Right.
I love it. I love it.
Well, my mom, when I was telling her we bought this house, and I said, Mom, I have 2 kitchens. I have one upstairs. I have 3 ovens, one in the wall and a stove with an oven, but I have 2 kitchens and the other one's in the basement. And she goes, oh, Portuguese people moved in there or used to live there. And I'm like, what? Yeah, Portuguese people. They all have kitchens in their basements.
Well, I have half a kitchen in my basement. I got
my great grandma,
a long thing. I got a sink, cabinets, and then right over there I got 2 more sinks. That's where the laundry is. But thank God, because my kitchen in this massive house, 3,954 square foot house.
Oh my goodness!
Right?
Wow,
it's this big.
Yeah,
and I went from a massive kitchen to that.
Right.
I was a designer, so my kitchen was
don't
like beautiful. I have stuff. I filled my whole huge kitchen, so thank God I had.
You need a huge kitchen if you're cook. Every time I talk to this woman during the day, she says, "I'm having lunch. What are you having? Egg sandwich. Eggs. Different ways of making egg sandwiches.
Peanut butter sandwich.
It's always
I had peanut butter and jelly today and pizza for dinner.
There's a first.
Exactly. Yeah. But my great grandma had, and her house is just across the field from me. I live on a farm. The big farm was family farm, and then after she passed in 2020 at 104, or just shy of 104, everything was parceled up. But her house had the small kitchen upstairs, and then the basement kitchen was the big kitchen, and in the 50s, like 40s, 50s, that was where like the party prepping when your house parties and things like that, that's where that happened. And then that was also the canning kitchen, the kitchen that where you had like the big business of, all the vegetables coming in at harvest, you're canning, you're freezing everything. So that was the busy kitchen. And then the kitchen upstairs was like your day-to-day meals, little kitchen, which I thought was really cool.
Where you are, you by Ohio? Where are you?
Where I'm in Fort Wayne. Raven and I are both in Fort Wayne, so it's northeast Indiana. Raven's closer to the Ohio line than I am. By from me though, it takes 20 minutes to get to the Ohio line. We're pretty close.
So a lot of those old homes have all those summer kitchens. The separate building with the summer kitchens.
Yes.
Yep. Very much.
I would love to have one of those.
Yeah. Absolutely. I would like to have.
I dehydrate. We freeze dry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We need to talk about that dehydrating.
Absolutely.
Have you ever had dehydrated watermelon?
We dehydrate.
Can you do that?
You can dehydrate watermelon and it comes out like watermelon candy. It's like, it is amazing. I want to freeze dry it, but I've heard that dehydrating it tastes better. But
you have to get that huge machine and put the things all in. That's a lot of work. I'm not a foodie. I'll do other things for work, but to deal with prep and buy food and stuff like that, I hate it.
I have more fun like canning and freezing and what's preserving. I love to preserve food. I just don't like to sit there and cook for myself. Because my son's a pretty picky eater. He's got ADHD and he's also on the spectrum. So there's that restricted food intake. He's got his certain safe foods, but he is branching out. He's trying vegetables now, but it's a slow process.
Yeah.
But anyway, so 9 times out of 10, I'm on my own when it comes to food. So like, I don't want to make a big meal for myself. But when it comes to like canning, freezing, things like that, and then I can pass it to my siblings or set it back for me later if I want to make a soup or whatever. But we're getting to the point where a lot of friends of mine and my siblings, we like to pass out like canned goods for Christmas and birthdays.
That makes sense.
My older sister gave me a jar of whipped honey for Easter.
Ooh.
And I love it. I love it. It was just honey that she frothed up.
Wow.
And,
You know, see, you don't want to cook a ton of food. But yes, Mary Jane, freeze dryers are expensive, but they're so worth it because I can cook a big meal for just Tim and I, and I make a big meal. And then I can take all the leftovers and freeze dry them. And then one night when we come home from work, all we have to do is add hot water. And it's like, I just made it.
Yep.
Yeah. Guacamole. Oh my God. It tastes like fresh made.
I have some canned stuff that Bob's sister gave me. She made applesauce that she canned, beets. What else did she give me? Oh, some beans. A few other things. So I had all these little cans, the jars and the big jars and stuff. The applesauce is amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But you have to, right now in this day and age, with everything that is going on, canning, freeze drying, any way that you can preserve your food. If your freezer goes out, you're screwed. I mean,
right. Yeah. Freeze drying. And how long does that last, Raven? Isn't it like 20 or 25 years or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you can't go wrong with that. And
that's worth the paying the amount for the machine.
Yeah. Like it would pay for itself very quickly. Yeah, that is just
thank you, Judith. Nice to meet you too.
Love you.
But I think it would really be beneficial to get back to that kind of society in the small communities of trading back and forth. Make your own food, and then if Betty needs a little bit of salt, then send over a can of tomatoes with it, and she can send some flour later when you need it. Things like that. Like how it used to be. I love that.
That's how I am with Marsha, but mostly Marsha brings me everything.
Yep. I've got a lady at work.
I mean, you have to look at what they put in foods. Because when I can something, or I freeze dry it, or I dehydrate it, I know what's in there. I know what I put in there. And Tim loves to garden. Yeah. So, we get to do that. I love that.
Ooh, Linda just made me hungry. Lasagna and shepherd's pie, freezing. Yes.
Yeah, lasagna.
100%.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I got to move to the States. People.
Right.
But, I mean, we have to get back to the basics because they're putting so many chemicals and stuff in our food.
Well, I had that balsamic vinegar that I was cooking with earlier, and after I had eaten most of my stuff, I looked at the label and it has lead. There's lead content in balsamic vinegar. And
I have an app.
Yeah,
we did a grocery store.
Apparently, to find the balsamic vinegar that doesn't contain lead, it's got to be like it's the super, super expensive stuff, and it's mostly straight alcohol at that point. So it's like, and it's very hard on your teeth, very, very hard on your teeth, and it's like,
So it's not vinegar, people.
Yeah, and the websites are like, a tablespoon at a time isn't bad, blah blah blah. Well, when you're eating a Mediterranean diet, balsamic vinegar is in like everything.
Yeah,
and so. But the fact that it's just blatantly right on the label, it contains lead. Who does that?
I don't get it. And I don't get why people put all this stuff in dog food too and can get away with it. It irks me to no end.
Do you know that we're the only country, our food in the United States is the worst in the world.
Yeah.
People in other countries, they don't have Their food isn't like ours.
Well,
No.
I
yeah, a
have this,
lot of
we have an app that when we go to the grocery store, we scan it
mhm,
and it'll tell you what kind of toxins are in. And so we scan just about everything that we buy. Of course, we end up around the outside of the grocery store buying fruits and vegetables and
right,
Yeah.
right.
Well, yeah. One of my only jobs that I worked for someone else was a fruit stand, and that was, to have all that fresh like that.
Vegetable oil, really?
Mm. My
wow.
I
my
don't
my
like.
family owns a farmer's market. It grew up in the produce business. My grandpa had the real Italian friends, the
Mhm.
Sicilians and the Sardinians, and like they knew their produce.
Yep.
And very,
That's
very,
the,
very,
yeah,
they
that's the
still have a
family that
very
molded me into who I am today. That I
right,
did not want
right.
to work for anybody else.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I have a very, very deep love of that Italian family style because I grew up with them. Like I was 1 and 2 years old sitting on the desk of millionaire CEO, fruit and
Oh,
vegetable
man,
people. Yeah, it was great. I love it. And Uncle Joe Casaro, he was one of my very favorite people. And I adored him. But yeah, like when you grow up with food like that, with good food, and then
Mm.
you hear of the things that are going in other foods that are being
Yep.
processed, it's like, why this is and I've gotten to the point where it's like all I want is the
Big
fruits
sandwich.
and the vegetables. And like right now is orange season. It's navel orange season from Florida. It's my
Mhm.
favorite, and
Mhm.
I'm going nuts. I eat probably like 2 oranges a day.
I love the white.
Oh yes,
I,
yes, yes.
it's like I have a process when I eat an orange. I got to make the peel go all the way around,
Mhm.
but I make it really thin so that all the white stays on the orange. And then you
Right.
eat all the white, and then you can
That's
break it
so
apart.
good.
That
It's
white stuff is really very good for you.
mhm.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
is.
Those the skin. You got to take a little piece of the skin too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
A little bite.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
Speaking of your family in Huntertown Gardens,
mhm.
they have their flowers and stuff in yet?
I believe my parents went and got the first load yesterday. So they should be in. It's still too early to plant. I know I'm excited. I want to get my flowers in. We
Yeah.
can't plant anything around here until Mother's Day because there's always like one last cold snap.
I know, but Huntertown Gardens always has the black petunias, and I love
Mhm. Oh,
they're beautiful.
beautiful, beautiful.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
and we get the starry petunias, which are and there's some called galaxy petunias, so they're purple and then with some pink, and then they've got like white flecks all over them that look like a
Wow.
galaxy.
Wow.
Beautiful.
I
Wow.
like the black ones, so I always
Yeah,
go there
the black
and
ones.
I snatch up all that I can buy, and we
Mhm.
have this big thing that goes in the driveway,
Oh my
and
God. You
it's
have to
full
send
of black
pictures. I need to
petunias.
have that done. I want to see pictures.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
It's beautiful. And
Yeah,
I
that was always a part of too of the whole fruit stand experience
mhm.
was doing
Yep.
between flowers and the graveyard flowers and all the
Right,
different off season things and then the wreaths and the Christmas trees and all that other kind of
right.
stuff. And we would take all that stuff too and go off to a site,
Mhm.
to sell those. And then sometimes when it was corn season, we'd go off site, onto a little roadside stand too. That was a part of it. But,
Right,
we'd sell corn and tomatoes,
Mhm.
right. Yep,
so people could just
absolutely.
drive up. We could throw it in their car and they drive off. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mhm.
And
What a good
my
business.
my grandpa, and we were very close. And I was homeschooled out of the four kids. I was the only one homeschooled. And he drove the truck to get our produce, things like that. My mom and my grandpa always they did the truck driving. So I would go with him a lot of times to go and get our loads and things like that. And he passed away in 2020.
Oh, sorry.
And thank you. And when he comes to me in my dreams and we
Small
talk and
produce.
converse, we're always in the truck. We're in the Freightliner. We have the bluegrass music playing and we're talking again. Um, 2 nights ago, he came to me in the dreams, and I was sitting on one of the wooden bin boxes that had apples in it, and that's my favorite season. That was his favorite season, was apple season. And it was so real that I could smell the apples. They were Macintosh. I know that smell. But that is where he and I are able to meet. We meet up in those
It's
in that
amazing.
plane, in that reality of
It's
the market,
so
or but anytime, if I have any other dreams about the market, they're not usually good. I don't get along with the rest of my family. My grandfather and I were so close, though. Um, and I love that. That is the
their loss. That's all I got to say.
Yeah,
well,
agreed.
thank you. Thank
Mhm.
you. But when it comes to him, he had such a passion for the business, for the people, for the 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 material, the fruit, the vegetables. Like he just knew when he would bite into a peach, or an apple that first of the season, and just that look on his
Mhm.
face, what
Yep.
was everything. That was
And
art.
the
He
snap
could
of
make
those green beans when they came in, I'm
yeah,
like, oh my God,
yes,
I would eat so many
yep.
green beans, I'd make myself sick.
Yeah, they could make it into an art form, and
Mm.
it's not the same as it used to be. The old world gentlemen really knew
Yes.
what they were
Yeah,
doing.
I went
It was an art form.
totally, and it was very
Yep,
connected.
yep.
But where
Oh,
we got our vegetables from was the North End in Boston. So it's like
mhm,
Faneuil Hall and all that area
mhm.
where like Paul Revere's, little
Yep,
chapel is
yep.
all that
Liberty
area.
Liberty Trail. I love Boston.
Yeah.
So
So
cool.
I only went in that trip twice because it
Mhm.
is the boys' zone.
Yeah, yeah. It
Even
is.
though
It
I
is.
was, out to prove myself and I was strong like a bull, I was nothing but muscle because of
Mhm.
work. But that's why I was
Yep.
going is to load the trucks. You get to load real quick, real,
Mhm.
real, real fast.
Yep.
And those watching them men do that business so perfectly and so, oh my God, it was like it was almost like a movie.
Yeah, they could load and unload in white suits and never get a thing on them.
But not
I've
right. I
seen that.
mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've
and
watched
the
those guys do
hats
it.
and and the everything. It was just like, oh my God. And there was this one
Perfection.
guy, Arthur. I was so in love with this guy, Arthur. I had such a crush. He was maybe, I don't know, 70 something. And I'm like, 16, 17, I
Mhm.
think. But I'm just like, every time he come in, he was so suave. He was like Dean Martin and Frank
Mhm.
Sinatra and any, suave
Mhm. That
Italian man.
gentleman type of energy. Mm,
Yeah, but you don't wanna mess with that man.
oh,
Nope.
You
no,
Nope. Nope.
nope.
know what I
They
mean?
they yeah, they know what they are doing on all sides of things.
Yep.
Mhm.
Um, but I remember, I think I was 8 when Uncle Joe Casaro passed away. Bless him, rest him. A phenomenal man, business wise, and he never treated me like a child. He treated me like somebody who could process anything. And I remember all the little lessons that he taught me, and one of them was that a businesswoman always has a pen. A businessman always has a pen. And ever since then, I've always made sure that I've had a pen somewhere.
Mhm.
Sometimes I leave it in the car, but I have a pen somewhere. Exactly.
Yeah.
A business person always has a pen, and business person does this, and make sure if you're going to wear a suit, make sure it's the right suit and for the right thing, and just things that
Little
you
things,
wouldn't
but
think an
important
8-year-old would
things.
hang
And
on to,
don't
but
disrespect until it's time to disrespect. You know what
exactly,
I mean? It's like
exactly.
you treat
And
everybody.
yep. And even then, yeah, because they had talked about disrespect, to my mom and things like that. Lessons on that was, you know, be firm and don't fully disrespect, because you never know when you need somebody later, or you never
Mhm.
know, because you don't want people to become your enemy later. So,
Don't burn those
you
bridges.
can be business and you can be firm, but at the same time, don't cut people off.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
Now
so.
look at Raven's screen going bing, bing, bing. So there's something
Mhm.
going on in her mind, and look at the
Oh,
energy. She's
yeah, but her light's been
Sorry,
going
yeah,
long
I
since
went
these
I went
boys
down the
go.
Italian rabbit hole there.
No, I've just been watching the screen, just
Mhm.
the,
Mhm.
the lights and the energy. There's
since before the
I
show.
have a visitor.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. I was
before
gonna
the
say
show
you've got
started.
somebody in your doorway.
Spotlight.
They keep like popping in and out, and yeah.
Yeah, it's probably my son.
Hmm. Yeah. I don't feel anything bad. It's one of
Mhm.
those. Is she done yet? She done yet?
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
cat last night.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Cat.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the cat was amazing.
Adorable.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, but the cat was the star of the show last night.
Right? Every time Vivian would talk, they
Yeah,
would come in.
exactly. I love
Yeah.
Linda when she
Yeah.
coming. I thought Tim was flickering lights.
Yeah.
No,
Like,
there are no flickering lights in this room.
Nope.
But this is my room, and it has a lot of energy, and it has a lot
yeah.
of energy. My deceased son stays with me a lot,
Yeah.
so he likes to play around with the way the lights are.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, you know, I had lights flickering in my dining room downstairs before. Like we've investigated. There's a few areas that they really like to congregate in my home,
Mhm.
and one space is the dining room. And I had my friend over, Tammy, and her boyfriend, and we were investigating in there, and the lights are flickering a little bit. And she picked up on it, so she said something, and I'm like, I think the lights just do that in here because it's just an old house and old wiring.
Mhm.
And that freaking comes over the spirit box. We touch the lights. I was like, oh, no
Well, then
kidding.
you can use those to communicate. Then, like, all right,
Exactly.
do some
Okay,
yes no
we do
questions.
we have all kinds of
Maybe I need to get a spirit box for my home.
Mhm.
You want to know what's amazing? And I know we're going overtime,
Make
but
those.
Sarah, let me. They make them, but they created a non-touch spirit board.
Yeah.
It's just nobody touches it. They don't have a go for it. They don't. You don't have a. Why did I forget the word? The thing that goes around the board. Your hands don't touch it. Spirit has to
Like a
hover over the
planchette.
letter. Planchette. Thank you. Spirit has to hover over it. She may be bringing it back, and it's just like seriously, and it's like it's one of a kind. I hate to say it, but her partner is a brilliant man, and when it comes to trinkets and gizmos and gadgets, and he's got the sexiest pair of calves available by any man. But that's my.
Okay.
They were at an event last year, and I was talking about it, and the friend went down. And I said, "Tell him I said hi, or sign his calves for me," and she did. Next year, they're selling the pictures of the calves that were signed. I'm gonna kill you, girl. They're selling that. They're putting the pictures in a basket of drawing things. Picture of his thighs with my signature, owned by Mama D.
I'm all excited. It's like this big unveiling. She keeps, yeah, Ginny, you keep looking at the camera and you got this like grin on your face. It just excites me even more because I know it's gonna be good.
Mm-hmm.
It is good, but I have to put all the batteries back in. There are 560 wires on this thing.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. It's one of a kind. I hate to see the person who actually asks to buy one that's gonna cost a fortune. A fortune.
Oh, is this the thing that you used when you went down to Massachusetts with your grandchildren?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's lovely. That is.
Yeah.
Okay. So now.
Oh, I love it.
That's to turn on. Hopefully I didn't break it. Here we go.
Nope. There you go.
So
No planchette. Just
it
goes by energy.
Spirits have to actually come in and point to a specific letter. All right. There's goodbye in the center. There's yes, there's no. All right. So let me see. Where's my camera at? This way. Here, go this way. All right. So it's the only one of its kind, hand free.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
Ouija board.
Wow.
So they come in. Now, when we were doing this, we were doing an interview with some college students that were coming over asking us about investigating. They didn't realize that we built equipment, and we just got done making this, right? And we put it on the table, and we're talking to them, and the spirit goes over and presses the W, and then it goes over and it does the 0, and then it went back to the W. And I'm like, W0, W. Then it went W, and then it went over because the O is over here to the O, and then back to the W. It was like, it was trying to spell wow, like, hey, we can communicate with this and saying, wow, but it realized it made the mistake with the 0, corrected it to the double to the O.
I
That's how
like
on top
that.
they are in my
Yeah.
house. But that
Yeah.
is a one-of-a-kind thing.
That is so
That's
cool.
one of a kind. Yeah.
It's a million friggin' wires in this thing.
Oh, that is so cool, though.
It's
Absolutely
just
amazing.
crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Phenomenal.
6 months to build, and yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Yeah, I would love to see it in action. Like, are you going to take it to Penhurst or anything?
Yep.
And
Oh yeah.
and,
Yep.
and
We took
yeah,
it to Penrith. It didn't do a lot, but you got to realize too, again, your audience. You know what I mean? Penhurst audience is probably not the best place to take that unless you have someone that can actually spell.
right,
Otherwise, it's just a mismatch.
right. Your salad type of thing.
They're not well people there. You know what I mean? They're doing this and stuff, and they can't talk, and they can't, point to a number. I mean, if they go in like this, they're not going to point to a number or a letter. So again, it might be beneficial to go somewhere else. But but we were still in test mode and stuff. Some things might set things up. Like when we moved it from the center of the table over, and we have a crystal chandelier. When the crystal shined down on it, like a light hit it, I think that was making it go off. So you have to make sure that you put it in a spot where there isn't any interference like that.
Right, right. Well, maybe if the patients aren't able to use it, maybe Nurse Ratchet or something can come out of the alcove and talk to, the doctor
or an intern or something. But it is
Right.
mostly the inmates and the inmates, the people that the residents there, that
absolutely.
communicate with you, But they love our cats and dogs.
Mm-hmm.
They'll go and pet those, and they like playing with those, and the things that look more like toys are domes. They like the lights, so they play with that, in our geophone. Now they love our music boxes. So I have like our music box. We have some that will play kids like songs. So like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, they'll set that thing off and keep setting it off because they like it. Like it resonates with them. So, but the equipment that we make is for all senses in the field. So the dome is for static, that's manifestation. The geophone is vibration, footsteps and tapping. And that can be adjusted too for a hard floor or soft floor, or whatever surface. So you can use that to monitor footsteps, or you can use that as a communication technique, like Cody and Satori use that, do that ABC thing. That's what they use as our geophone. And then we have like the trigger prop cats and dogs. Those are proximity. You actually have to touch them. They have two modes. They have, music mode and the REM mode, which is like a nasty or a nice soothing music, But the kids love playing with that because they light up and, and they like doing that. We have like a V pod, which is a small, sleek little, almost like a REM pod, but it's smaller, sleeker, and the antenna folds, and you can put it right in your pocket, and but it acts like a REM. But you actually again have to physically, come into that range, into that antenna. And we again have two modes on that, music and REM. Then we have our HTO, which is like specific items. So say, okay, this is not metal, right? But you can hook anything that you want with an alligator clip from our HTO to anything metal. But this is what's being touched all the time. So you take this and you put it on a metal tray and you hook the HTO up to the metal tray. And then if they come in and touch this, then the light will go off and the sound will go off if you so choose to turn that on. So we have let's see. All right, dome. That I'm trying to think of all things in the spirit box.
All the different.
So the music box can be any design you wanted. Like I could put your logo up there in the corner on the music box, and we could play whatever music you wanted in the music box. And that when you set it in a direction, you point it in the direction that you want to monitor. It's not only motion; it's motion and temperature. So if the spirit goes by and it's cold or hot, it's going to go off. So if it goes quickly, the music turns on. the light turns on quick and turns off,
Right.
you know. But if
Mhm.
something stays and it lingers in front of the box, the music continues to play, and then you
Mhm.
know, okay, something's there. Start talking. You
Right,
get your
right.
recorder,
Yeah.
start
I,
communicating. They're right in front of you.
I had the SLS camera out, and I don't, for those that don't know, the SLS is like kind of like your Xbox Connect, where it has like the lines and the dots, and it maps your
Mapping.
body
Yeah.
out. And there was one day I kept seeing somebody walk back and forth in front of my SLS camera, and I was like, I can see you, right? I can see where your head is, your body, and it stepped in the middle of the room and it did a dance and went like this.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like,
Yep.
you're dancing for me. And then it went faster.
Yeah.
It started dancing even faster. So like,
Yep.
sometimes they just want to have fun. They want to
Yeah.
pay, they just want you to pay attention. And sometimes they don't realize that you can see them until you say something.
Exactly. I
they-
shamed that apparition that was groping my friend.
Mhm.
Shamed right out of the room. It shrunk. It went back into the wall, and I said, "Are you grabbing my friend?" I was appalled,
Right.
and it
Yeah.
was just
Yeah.
like, what, because she said to me, "Is there something on my chest?" And I take that
Right.
flare and I come around, and I was like, "Oh, holy crap!"
Right.
And
Exactly.
it's this entity with this hand right on her breast. She is.
Mm-hmm. I had one. This one was at Randolph. It was my first official ghost hunt on my first official team, and we had the ghost box going, and we were in the basement in the maintenance area, and I felt somebody grab my butt, and my friend Loki was like, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was like, "Hey, I think it was Wayne." He was like, "Hey, Wayne, that's not very nice." And on the spirit box, he goes, "Well, I like her," and I was like, I don't like that,
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
It was a little bit different,
There's
but
a line. There's a line.
yeah, oh yeah, for sure. And then, well, it was last month, before the one convention in Ohio, my partner and I had went to the Monroe House in Hartford City, and she and one of our other teammates was in the basement, and Amy was asking questions, and on the ghost box, they heard "You can hear me?"
Mhm.
And Amy was like, yes, talk. And they got evidence, but there had to just be that right shift in the veil, and then that woman realized that we could hear her if she just spoke.
Yep.
And so now hopefully
was like,
that'll
you're going up to the third floor in Hillview, and it's like,
right.
I'm putting all the equipment in the hall and stuff, and I'm like, go ahead out there and touch it. And they're talking to each other, and they're saying, I'm not going to touch that. You touch it. They're like, no, I'm not going to touch that. And then I'm listening to it, because I'm doing real time, because you can do real time where you put headphones on and put it onto your recorder so you can hear it real time, not even over a spirit box or anything, right through your recorder. So I'm listening real time, and I'm like answering them. I'm like, it's not going to hurt you. You can touch it. Don't tell them not to touch it. Did you tell him not to touch it? And then they're answering everything back at me, like talking to themselves, going, who did you say something to her? How does she know what we're saying? You know what I mean? And it's just like this thing that went back and forth for a while, and I have it all on recording,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then they were
cool.
like, there too. They were like, they used to go down. There was a golf course, I guess, nearby, and if they collected the golf balls and brought them back, they would get money and they could buy cigarettes, or they would take pictures of people and pay for, get paid to take pictures. So I said, it was something Jules. I can't remember the other one's name, but it was Jules and something. And I said, Jules, can you take my picture? And he went, smile, click, click. Like, oh my God. And then the team that I was with, we always played around, and I'll tell you, the spirits loved it when we played around.
Oh yeah.
But they came up and they were trying to scare me, which never worked, right? But they were trying to scare me. And then they come up, and it's like we're wrapping up at the end of the night, and we're going into one of the rooms, and we realize that the buzzer works on the wall. So we're like laughing, hysterical. We're all tired. We've been investigating all night long, so we're tired, and we're just out of control. And we're hitting the buzzer, and hitting the buzzer, and ha 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 ha. And you hear on my recorder, I still had all my stuff going in the hallway, right by the nurse's station, everything else. You hear a nurse yelling, "Girls, girls, girls!" Like yelling at us to stop with the buzzer. So I mean, they just it's
Yeah.
endless. I mean, I have like freaking thousands of these stories, you know, and
I
it's
love
just
it. I love
it's
it.
so fun. It's so amazing.
Mhm.
You know, Ugh, I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah. And it's there's something that is healing about it too. When you make that connection and they realize that they're not forgotten.
Yeah.
There's something that is hugely healed. Because a lot of times they for 100 years or longer they think they're forgotten, and then all of a sudden somebody like us comes along and we can see them and hear them, and they're like, wait a minute, and it's almost like we scare them sometimes
Yeah, oh, totally.
because yeah, and but it's when you're able to talk to them and you're able to give them a little bit of peace, even if they don't move on,
Mhm.
that is healing too, just in a
Mhm.
different form,
Yeah.
and I love
Well,
that.
that's a lot of the hauntings in the houses.
Yeah.
Like I was saying about, being a counselor. It's like, well, the
Mhm.
spirit didn't like that you removed his favorite wallpaper.
Right.
Is there any way you can put, something similar to it back in the dining room? Would that
Right.
be too much for you to,
Or take the piece of paper and put it in a picture frame, set it up somewhere,
something,
something like that.
something, yeah,
Anything.
something to
Um,
appease, you know what I mean? To
yeah,
just make effort,
absolutely.
and that sometimes is enough. And if it's
Yeah.
not, then, then we have to
Well,
come up
gotta
with other,
mediate a little bit.
yeah,
But
other
I love
answers.
that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm starting to get deeper into the quantum physics side of things now. So I'm like, if we heal this timeline, then I can heal that timeline. And then we're going to heal this timeline. And then we're going to go back
Okay,
in time because
slow
it's not
down,
linear.
slow down,
And it's like,
slow down.
yeah, it is awesome. Awesome.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so yeah, it's become beautiful. It's not just spooky and running around in dark buildings. It's
yeah.
something
It's
really,
not.
really
I don't
beautiful.
see this. I don't see it as scary at all. But
No.
So, Linda, which grandpa was it the house that you grew up in across the driveway that had the ghost? Because that was Vavo's house and that did have a ghost in it.
I guess something happening. There's a bunch of sirens going on
Where
outside.
was me?
Mhm.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, I remember that. Linda is my cousin, and I told you in New England, like it's Ghost City. And I remember that ghost in that house too.
Hmm.
Well, Joe was afraid of it.
Mhm.
I remember when I was, I don't know, maybe 12 or so, there was a farmhouse down where my girlfriend was. She lived at the mansion on the hill, and we had the little house down in the valley.
Mhm.
And I was going from her house down to my house, and I decided to walk down by myself down the long way back to my house. And we go by the haunted farm. And
Mhm.
I swear to God, I saw the lady in the long white dress and standing in the doorway, and I'm just like waving, and she's just standing there. I'm like, okay, and I
Mhm.
walked and I just went down because that's where the path was to cut through. You go past that house and down. And I'm like, well, maybe someone, lives there now. I'm telling my friends that about this later, and they're like, no, you just saw the ghost. There's no one in that house. I'm like, oh my God,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
That's
Oh,
what.
the Bridgewater Triangle. Yeah, so that's what's his name's territory there.
Mike Ricksecker.
No, not Mike.
No.
Oh God, what the hell's his name? He does all the tours and all the books. Jeff Belanger, who wrote
Oh,
the books
Oh.
on the Bridgewater Triangle and stuff.
Mhm.
The Pudge Wudgies or the Pickwickets or whatever the hell they're called.
Right.
The little guys. I don't know what they are. Like cryptic. I'm not big on that cryptids, but Bridgewater Triangle is more like bigger than a triangle.
She lives in Taunton, Mass.
Oh,
yeah.
nice. Yep. Yep. It's a lot bigger than a triangle, and actually, kind of, it's a messed up triangle because it kind of goes out, and
Yeah.
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 I'd love to be able to take a couple weeks and just hang out just on the East Coast. When I say I want to travel the United States, it's all East Coast. Everything that I love is east of me. Chicago's
There's
cool.
so much out there. You know, did you go to everything out there? You know, I mean,
Yeah.
you've got all the haunted towns in the old West, and Nevada and
Right. And
Tennessee
those
and
are,
all of those. But you've got the best prison by you. Ohio Reformatory is the
oh
best.
yeah. That's a few hours east still, but yeah,
That's
that's I
okay.
haven't got there. Yeah, I was supposed to go a few weeks ago. But I was supposed to go the week after um I went to Middletown, so it was going to be in the middle of March. Um, and like I had just gotten home on one Sunday from Florida, and then the next week we had the conference, and then the next week I had another ghost hunt, and then the week after that we're supposed to go to the Ohio Reformatory, and I was sick. I was so sick. I had a
Oh,
terrible sinus infection. Took me over a month to get over after Florida, and the, I felt kind of bad. I was at the Monroe House, and it's supposed to be, they call it the Demon House of Indiana, not the one in Gary.
yeah.
But it's supposed to have a very active demon, and it's supposed to be extremely active. I was in there for 2 hours, and I'm like, you guys, this place is dead. Like, there's nothing here. I'm going to bed. And I went to the back bedroom where there was a bed, and I crashed. And I slept for like 8 hours because I'm like, I'm tired, I'm grumpy, I'm sick, I'm not doing this. If
Yeah.
I am in a place where I am like, where my hair is standing up on the edge and everything, like I could feel something, I'm not going to sleep.
Nope.
Um,
No.
but I
Well, I
was,
did test
it,
that, even though I felt that at Trans
yeah.
Allegheny, because the second time I went to Trans Allegheny, that's when I brought all this crap back to my house, this really
Mhm.
bad thing that did all this damage and blew up all my electronics and smashed my
Mhm.
microwave and all kinds of stuff, But I did a lot of things. So I went from
Mhm.
Massachusetts to Staten Island to pick someone up, over to Lenox, and we went to the mansion, out to Trans Allegheny, investigated all night, went over to Hillview, investigated all night. Then I drove him back to Staten Island on my way back to Lenox. Then I went to the Hoosac Tunnel, went into the tunnel all alone, and I took home a spike and a freaking brick. And I'm like, my whole career in this paranormal, I'm like, do not take a pebble from a location home or a grain of sand. Okay. Do not do it. So here I am, because I have had no sleep. I am just like, I'm out
Mhm.
of my mind. And I took that home, and whatever was attached to that was this, like, so, you're hiding in the shadows of my house. And what do I got to do for you to show yourself to me? And blah, 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 blah. And it says, sacrifice your dog. I said, that's it. Called up everybody that I know, and I had them come over. We did this whole thing, to get this thing out of my house. But
Right.
it smashed my very expensive microwave. It cost me like $3,500 to replace all my electronics that it messed up.
Right.
And then another 600 to replace my microwave. I'm like, son of a bitch bastard, you know. But I mean, it's like,
It can get real. It really can.
yeah, that's
Absolutely.
how experienced you are. Don't
Right.
go putting yourself at risk, by doing something like that. Try to fit in so many locations in a little bit of time,
Right.
and no sleep
Yeah.
and driving and this and that. Don't. It's not worth it.
Right. Right.
Do as she says, not as she does.
Not as she
Right.
does.
There you
Right.
go.
Right.
Well, I don't
And
do that anymore, and I
yeah,
will
and
never,
and when you're
never.
sick and you're not feeling great, or you're really tired, like you become susceptible,
Yeah.
and more vulnerable.
Yep.
And it was just one of those things where it was like the worst timing ever. But when that time where I was able to go to the Ohio Reformatory, I'm like, I'm not feeling it. I do not feel well. I am never one to turn down an investigation, but I knew that, like, that is the worst place to go if you are not at your best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is the
Yeah.
place that I got nervous at, because like that team that I went to the first time I went there,
Mhm.
there was a gay girl on our team, and she
Mhm.
always taunted the inmates and stuff. And we were there before everybody else, and we were down in the basement, just me and her. And she's
Mhm.
sitting Indian style on the ground, and I'm filming, and she's taunting these guys, and she's saying, and I'm not going to really say what she said exactly on here,
Yeah.
but and she had a shirt, it was kind of off her shoulder. And I watched it happen. An entity came up, it bit her. Right now,
Oh,
I
yeah.
felt that bite getting redder and redder and redder, and and she's like, "Oh, I can't believe you did that." Blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
You
"You
made him
just,
mad.
what are you talking about? You're
Yeah.
taunting."
You can't
What we
disrespect
did,
them.
yeah, you can't do
Yeah.
that. You can't do that. But now down there, that was the place that we picked, because that team, we would always say, everyone has to go alone into like the worst parts of a place, for 20 to 40 minutes or whatever by yourself. So I had to go down there, and I'm like, I was fine walking by that area where that happened, but I had to walk through the little maze to get to the stairs that were down by the governor's stairs coming down that part, right? And that's where we were sitting. And now I'm sitting there investigating, and all of a sudden I'm getting like antsy, nervous, and then I'm getting scared. And it's like, I feel like I'm getting closed in on. You know what I mean? And it's like they have all these rooms off to the side there, all open, and I think that they were just coming in, and I'm like, okay, guys, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
And
100%.
I left. And I think that's the only time that I ever really got scared. Oh, no, because Sue actually, the cell that he was in for solitary, right, for the movie for Shawshank, I was sitting in there, and she actually shut the door, and it freaking locked. And I'm in there by myself. At least I had equipment, so I started investigating. And she was going to go help. And again, at the beginning, I was fine. But then I'm in there and waiting and waiting and waiting. And now I'm getting, it's dark, and I'm getting nervous. And I'm just like, oh, man. And then I'm trying to put myself into their position. Like, what was this like? That if this was really, you're the inmate and you're in here 24/7.
Yeah. No light, no nothing.
Yeah, that's nuts.
It's maddening. That's why they went insane.
Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, it's like, that little time there, I'm like, that's enough. It's enough.
And I'm sure that when those guys were in the dark, either their own inner demons would come out and taunt them, or there could be things in there that would taunt them to drive them to madness, because it's such a place of despair and anger that, and things like that get attracted.
Yeah, that's a huge energy, and that energy lingers. And it's really, it's harder. But that's when you need the ravens and the Mama D's, coming in with their radiance and that bright light, because then that will disrupt all that dark energy, and then I don't even know what to do. And then they'll be like, ooh, what's this light? I mean, oh, there's happiness. There can be happiness, and it's like, yes, there can be happiness. Yes.
Happiness and love. And Raven, like when she walks past you, you can see the vibrations like following off of her, like just falling off of her. It's like a golden cloak. And that's why I'm like, when you do get to come with me on an investigation, things are going to either amp up.
They're going to be attracted to her.
Well, they'll amp up, but like
either attracted to her too.
Yeah, things are going to amp up for everybody involved, or I have a feeling there's going to be just even a couple people that's just going to want to have to sit down with you, and they'll talk your ear off. Like I can already feel that. There's already a couple people that's like, I got dibs.
Yeah. Yep. I'm trying to take Mama D, really, because she'll have her little conversations. She'll have her mental thing going first, so they're gonna all know all about Mama D before she even gets there, and she's just gonna be like, come on, we're gonna have our conversation.
That's what I do. I do with the living. I do with the those that have crossed over. So I'm good.
Yep, absolutely.
Ghosty hugs.
No. I am. I mean, if I was as close as you two, we'd be in trouble all the time.
Oh shit. Yeah. Grocery stores would be in trouble. Gina hates grocery shopping. And she was, I gotta go grocery shopping. I'd be like, when I come down there, we're gonna go grocery shopping. You're gonna stand on the edge of the basket and I'm gonna push you.
Well, if you make it fun, I'll go.
I will.
Yeah. I just, I don't know what it is about grocery shopping.
She does.
Ugh, don't like.
Well, Jesse will be coming over pretty soon, because we have to have a house blessing.
Nice.
Yep, absolutely. and it's spring, and as soon as retrograde is over, then plans can start. It'll be over soon. Oh my goodness. What a retrograde, let me tell you.
Oh, thank you, Linda.
Do your house set up your room that the spirits go into and not the whole house and disrupt everybody else?
All right.
If you have to do it with coins, if you have to do it with dust, if you have to do it with salt, if you have to do it with whatever brick dust you need to use, you use it and seal off your room and say, this is where you go, not anywhere else.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yep.
So, absolutely. But
I noticed my cat hasn't come in this room one time.
No.
She came in when Mama D and I were here.
mm,
And then when the rest of the night, she hasn't been in the room.
Huh.
But she came in the room last night every time
How many times?
Vivian would talk.
Yeah.
Whenever Vivian would talk, she'd come in and like, who is that?
she must
Okay.
like your voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
Yeah.
And,
I think that's the only time she actually smiled in the entire show.
but
Yeah.
How can you
cats
not?
and solar celestial beings and cats, like they go hand in hand. I mean,
Yeah.
cats were gods once.
Yeah.
And
Still are in my house.
so they still are. My son likes to think they still are at our house too.
You
I would
have
have
to watch
90
that
of them.
show.
But yeah, so I wonder if your cat had recognized that language that was unspoken, that
Probably.
we as humans couldn't hear, but
Well,
she could
because she said she had
She has a bangle. Is it bangle?
She had her team. No, she has her team whenever she goes
at all times. Yep.
whenever she goes into a room or whenever she's, working or whatever. She said she had her team. Yeah.
Mhm.
And they were entities of light and you couldn't see them, but apparently Faye does.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And they could have been conversing together, like talking back and forth, and
Yeah,
Mhm.
they could have been calling the cat back in.
yeah.
Yeah, they could have,
Your cat could be
Yeah, that was such an interesting show because I mean,
Yeah, that one. If there was a recorder going on in your room at that time, I would wonder if you would get the voices on there.
I wonder.
I have now. There are people that have picked up, paranormal investigating, have picked up alien stuff, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I mean, I wonder. I wonder if it would, if that's a on the hearts line there,
It could be.
could be picked up.
I mean, the extraterrestrials and cryptids and paranormal, it all goes together. I mean, there's so many. It's all the different timelines and the realities and dimensions. Like things cross back and forth, and we're definitely not the only ones out there for sure.
No, that's
if we think we are the only ones out there, then
You think too highly of yourselves.
Yeah,
if
Chris.
You think that.
Chris is Judith and I met Judith through Chris. But
Okay.
Chris George, the psychic that I work with, cooking. Yeah, that house that with the that crazy spirit, the one that I crossed over. Well, I took him over there because I'm like, this is nuts, and this was before any of that happened. And he's like, what he saw in that place, he said he's never seen ever in his psychic career. It's like he was looking like there was a room there wasn't even a room there, and he was seeing a family in a timeline, and then over here he's seeing another family in another timeline, and then over here it's like another timeline. He's like, this is like it's kind of like a vortexy type area. I don't know if that's what had to do with that squelching things too. So you never know. The field is so endless as to where you can go and how in depth it can be. Like when you were saying, I was saying, do you slow down? You want to hear all the timelines? You know what I mean? Yeah, that's a great thing. However, you could mess people's timelines up.
Yeah.
So,
Very.
You must be careful with what you do in this field too. Don't mess past like that. You know what I mean? Because you could mess
Well,
up some karma, you could mess
now,
up some dharma, you could mess up, 3
oh,
generations
yeah.
that it's not even born yet. You know what I
But now I work with timelines, and I will go back in my own timelines and try to heal situations and things.
Big time.
that refer to you.
Yes.
Mhm.
And even that will change somebody else's life in even the most minute way, but it will, because it's like a pebble in the pond. You throw the pebble in the pond and you got a ripple, and that ripple goes out to the entire pond.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you have to
Same for
watch
universe.
everything that you do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Observing. That was our word of the day.
Yes,
Observing.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yes, observe.
Absolutely.
Don't jump in because it's, oh, we could do this, we could do that. Don't jump
All right.
in head first.
Yeah.
Observe, learn.
Right.
Mhm.
It's not going and changing time or like events or anything, but like, that healing the extra hurt that's like lingering over.
Yeah, but people grow from hurt too.
Yeah.
People
For
grow,
sure.
it forms people into what they are.
Right.
Some people do need to have that past hurt healed themselves. But
Right.
if you're going into ancestors' timelines, then that person might be, like you said, it would be different, and then you got to start over again because now you're healing something completely different. You know what I mean?
Yes. Once you heal yourself, you heal your ancestors and future generations.
Yep.
Yeah, in one
Very
way.
true.
Yeah, healing the future would be more beneficial.
Right.
The past has happened. The past formed the people. If we have a trapped spirit, we can cross them over.
Exactly.
However, their journey is still continuing. Again, it's endless, and it's like it's not for the faint of heart. It's not for a weak warrior. You know what I mean? Don't go jump.
Because somebody who doesn't know what they're doing and just going in like, I mean, I know that I wouldn't do this by myself, but if I was a nincompoop and I decided to do it by myself, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what doors you leave open. It's like how many people back in the day used to play with Ouija boards and spirit boards and forget to close.
Yeah.
Not open it. It's like, and then they would wonder why, well, dude, you forgot to close the door. Do you always leave your door open in the house? It's the same thing.
I was actually just talking to somebody, like not even an hour before the show started, about Ouija boards. And I'm like, they're a great tool to use if you know what you're doing. The problem is they're sold in Walmart in the toy aisle to kids that don't know what they're doing, that don't have parents that know what they're doing. So that's when crap hits the fan.
The big thing with Ouija is that's why we made that thing, is because it took the human touch out. It's like that's what everybody's all up in arms about, is because you're using your physical energy on the planchette, telling the spirit to come into you to move the planchette. That's the issue. Right? And especially when you use that by yourself too, because you will get some spirit to trick you, and that's not progressive entrapment is what that's called, and they'll lure you in and pretend that they're aunt or uncle or grandpa or whatever, and they're not until they got you, because they keep putting their energy into you. And it can, but it doesn't normally happen like this. All right, as a spirit can enter you and take you over like that. It's a process.
It is a process.
So, like you said before, you didn't realize what was going on until it was too late.
Right.
That's what happens with the Ouija board if you don't know what you're doing. But if you do the rules correctly, it's like a tool like any other tool, and just say hello, goodbye, only invite, love, like kind spirits,
right.
That kind of thing. There's a long list. I know, like, we're way over, guys.
Yeah, we are. Almost 2 hours, but yeah.
Are you okay?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just tired. I get up at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning to go to work.
Wow.
So yeah, I go to work.
So on that note,
so about this time of night, it's pretty far past my bedtime. I usually don't. I don't even know what the best word is, but like about 8 o'clock, I just cease to exist.
Yeah.
Playing because I go right to dream world. About anywhere after like 9 o'clock, I just start clocking out. But like it's 9:45 and I'm like, man, this is really good. And then I just got that like first wave of sleepy.
I saw it.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw it. And you're just like, oof. And I'm like,
yeah.
just tired. And I know you usually only do an hour show. We're used to doing a 2-hour
Yeah.
show.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. But yeah, I could have paranormal and spiritual witchy discussions all day, every day, all night.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because
But
seriously, I mean, we could break out the equipment, we could show all the clips and all
Right.
the
Oh,
recordings and everything else. And, I mean, it's, oh my God, talk about all the locations and,
yeah.
what happened. I remember all my locations, who was
Oh,
at
yeah.
those locations, and what was said where, and,
Yeah.
oh,
And honestly, I have more funny stories than I do scary stories.
me too.
Everybody thinks that it's so terrifying and scary, and I'm like, honestly, it's fun. They like to laugh and have fun. They love company. They, and a lot of the grumpy ones, like I love grumpy old men, especially grumpy old farm men. They're my favorite people. There's something about a grumpy old man that just cracks me up.
I know, and you want to just,
Yeah.
that you can fix them, and that you can break that
Yeah.
exterior and get them to open up to
Exactly.
you, right? Because I
Yep,
did the
and
same thing
yeah,
in my
so
cleaning business.
So when I find them on the other side, it's like, we're buddies. And he's like, what? I'm like, oh, we're buddies. Just wait. And then by the end of the night, I've got a friend. And
Exactly.
yeah,
I was arguing with a grumpy old man in Hillview's boiler room about football.
oh my goodness. Yeah, it's
His
the
favorite coach
maintenance guys.
was Nolan, and mine was Belichick, and we had a very lengthy conversation on that.
It always seems like it's the farm guys and the maintenance guys that are the best, and the mechanics, the spirits and mechanics, like and sometimes they get a little bit rough around the edges, but
Yes, so will I.
it's one of those. But being from the time that we have now, what they say really isn't that shocking. It's just when it just randomly comes out of the conversation, but it's still funny. I find it funny.
Yeah.
But like I've always been comfortable around guys. Like all of my friends growing up were all guys. So yeah. So it's no different on the other side of the veil. Like
Right.
I'm okay with it.
But it's like you make the friends with them, oh God, in that Houghton mansion, I'm in the basement. That's again the same thing where we always had to go place by ourselves. Well, we picked the basement, and we were all trying to watch for a ghost cat. Okay, I didn't get no ghost cat. Okay, I got the films going and all the stuff, and there was a wire go down the stairs, and there was the DVR camera, and the thing came undone, and Frank was coming down the stairs to fix it, and I hear it, and I said, "Who's that? No, can you get my door?" I'm singing like this, right? And I said, "Who's coming down?" And a freaking spirit right next to me, because I had the recorder in my hand, and you hear it as loud as can be. It's that man. It's like, okay.
Somebody like Frank.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think one of my favorite, it was an asylum, but it housed like Civil War widows and the families, and then the other part was for like the more, I don't like to say insane, but back then the term was insane.
Okay. Yeah, the poorhouses and the stuff. They dumped everybody at.
Yeah, they sure did. And the one maintenance guy, Harry, was there. And yeah, he was long past and everything, and he was just walking around, and the tour guide was trying not to give too much information and everything, and she was like, oh, the maintenance man passed away in this bathroom, and I'm like, oh yeah, it was Harry. And she's like, well, have you been here before? And I said, no, it's on his name tag, he's standing right next to you. And she couldn't see them. She just knew the story. She's very big in historian. She'd never had any like experiences, but I'm like, it's right on his name tag right next to you. And he was funny. Oh my goodness, he was so funny, but sad. I mean, he did take his life. But he really did have kind of a cheery disposition, and for the rest of the night, I would hear him walking down the hall and whistling. just
Oh
you know,
my
just enjoying himself. You know, he was there for the long haul. Might as well enjoy it, and you know, so
Yeah.
that was neat.
Funny things that happened. Oh my God. One of the very first investigations I went to, we were at Rolling Hills. And she says there's a morgue downstairs. It was actually a kitchen, but there was, you know, it's positive morgue. But we're in there and all the cameras are in there. And all I have is a flashlight and millimeter. That's it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Because everything is in there and I'm just standing there. And then I hear something in the hallway. All right. So I walk out to the hallway and I'm still hearing something. And I'm like, hey, guys, you know, and the Sue, that crazy lady, okay, she was standing kind of by the door with the camera and they were trying to get something going on in the morgue. And then all of a sudden I hear, right, like my millimeter starts going up, 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 okay, and it went off the charts, but I hear, right, running down the tunnels right at me. I'm going, guys. And then Sue's gonna she's gonna try to come out, but she has the big camera. She's like kind of turning around, and I'm just like going, guys. And now I was standing against the wall and I'm walking back like this, and it was a little girl spirit, because I could feel it, was running down the hall, ran right through me, like hit me like a sack of potatoes, poof, you know, and my hair went poof, everything. And then she went right out a door that's like blocked off. She went right through the door and outside, you know. And then I'm screaming, right? Because I'm just like, ah! And then I turn to go into the doorway as Sue is actually coming out. So now all you see and hear on the camera is crash, because we're crashing into each other, screaming, laughing at that point, you know, and I drop things. Oh my God, it was like insane. But I go up and I'm telling the woman that owns the place about what happened, you know, and she's like, well, there's a little boy spirit down there. I'm like, this was not a little boy. This was a little girl. I know her. If I ever came across her again, I would know her in an instant, you know, because she ran right through me.
Yeah.
But I mean, that has never happened since, you know, but I mean, you hear it coming up and then to run through you. So, you know, she was probably just playing. You know what I mean? And running away, maybe with that little boy spirit down there that was in the laundry area or whatever, because it's a big tunnel that comes down. There's a junction, the part where the bad janitor is over there, and the thing here, and another tunnel thing over here. But that door that goes outside's been blocked off for years. But it must have been open while she was there, because she just went running right outside. You know? And these things are just so amazing. Amazing. And when they happen, you know, it's like it scared the crap out of me at the time, but you know, I lived to tell the tale.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely. I love it.
Okay, Jesse, so we're gonna have to go on a ghost hunt.
Yep, absolutely. Anytime. And I'd love to take a longer week or so and be able to go out to New England. There's so many places I want to see out there.
Go from Indiana, stop here in Pennsylvania. We'll go from here up to New England. Go to all the old stomping grounds and the haunts. Go Gardner Mansion.
I would love that.
You know?
So I got to go out to Crescent in Pennsylvania last summer in August. Crescent in Crescent, Pennsylvania. So it's an asylum and a prison. So check that out when you get a Creson, Crescent.
Oh, okay. I'll check it out.
They have a castle in Ohio.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's that way. That's not
I love Ohio.
Far away from us at all.
Yeah. Moundsville too, West Virginia.
Yeah, we could do like a collaboration meet somewhere. That would be fun. That would be a really fun episode too. Oh my goodness. That would be wild.
I would love to do something with you.
The gears are turning.
Grab Mama D from, you know,
Canada.
Across that damn border.
I gotta get my passport. I keep saying it and just never happens. But it will one day.
I gotta get mine too. But
I gotta renew mine.
Yeah.
I've never had one, so
no.
Don't need one to steal me away.
Yeah, I'm really, really tan.
Shove me in the trunk.
black, like really dark tan with freaking bleach platinum blonde hair. It doesn't even look like me. My passport picture.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Mhm.
Good.
Well, what wisdom would we like to leave our guests with tonight?
Please be careful in the paranormal field.
Yeah. And if you don't know, especially like a tool, like a Ouija board or something, don't mess with it. There's so many moving parts to it that,
Yeah.
unseen moving parts.
Yeah. And trust your gut, trust your instincts, because those are direct lines from your spirit guides that will tell you, don't do that. If they say don't do that, then don't. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you wake up in the morning, shield yourself. And when you go to bed at night, shield yourself.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yep.
Yep.
And when you take a shower too, cleanse your chakras when you shower.
Yep.
That's
Yes.
a very, very
Yep.
simple. And then don't forget to close it back up. Raven taught me that one. Yep.
Yep.
And
This
of
is
course,
a good one. This is a good one to just,
selenite.
yeah.
I love
And
my
it doesn't matter
selenite.
how big or how little, it all does the same thing.
Mhm.
Right?
Yep. Selenite goes around a lot of my electronics.
Yep.
Time. I have it in my office at work.
I have selenite on every windowsill and every doorway, including my garage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
There you go.
really?
Yes.
Well, that teenage boy is just a prank guy. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I think I honestly think it's my son because he comes around and he,
I
I don't feel any negative energy out of him. And I use my heart for discernment, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel it in my heart, and I feel it's Jonathan,
Aw.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's
And
great.
you have the wisdom and the skill to be able to have the true discernment that, like, you would know if something was not right.
Yeah. Oh,
Because-
absolutely.
Yeah, because I'm
The
a mother.
neighborhood that I came from, yeah.
So yeah, you above almost all other people, you would know. So
Yeah.
you trust that. Trust that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So,
And Mama D is going to send some love out on the wings of a butterfly. So watch for the butterfly.
Yeah,
butterflies.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the paranormal won tonight. What do you think, Mama D?
Yeah, I think they did, but it's okay. I enjoyed it. I
did
always
too.
do. When Gina has a paranormal guest on her show, I just sort of sit back and I soak it all up like a sponge. I know eventually it'll come in handy because my two go-to people for my first investigation is going to be a toss-up as to who I get first is, of course, Gina, without a doubt, and Jay Lynch from Ohio. That's like,
Jay.
oh
I
God, yeah.
go with Joplin. George.
No, George is going to get his
Sprinkles.
when I get to California, I'll go see George. But yeah, no. Jay and his crew were the first teams that I watched do a live paranormal show, and I was like, they did a live investigation, and I was like, the first time I connected distance with what was going on, and I was messaging his wife, going, "This is what I'm getting." She goes, "Really?" So yeah, so that will be they'll.
And that's doable too, especially people with powers like you and you too, Raven. Could, if you were patched in, like say on a computer or a laptop or whatever,
That's what I
to a
did.
live investigation, you would definitely pick up on all the energies and the things that were going on. You might be able to things that were going on. So, that's also a way to join an investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So in that case, I've done a couple.
Yeah, me too.
Distance. There you go. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to the time I actually get in there.
Yeah.
Get my feet cold. Because I know I'm gonna at some point if somebody touches me and decides to start poking at me, I'm gonna be poking back after just a few words pop out my mouth.
I'm sure they would, and I'm sure they would do it in a fun way because they're just.
Oh yeah, no, I know. Poking me
Absolutely.
means to be tickled. I don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm personally very ticklish.
Yeah. Well,
All
they
right.
know we're really late, and I
Yeah.
appreciate you guys letting me ramble. And I know I'm
No,
Okay.
No, I love it.
It was
I
a
love
fun
it.
show. It was just, it's so nice. You guys really
Mhm.
have to check out the Fox Den because Gina has some amazing guests on. Gina and Mama D have some amazing guests on, and especially last night. You guys got to watch that
Mhm.
show.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch
Mama
it.
D, you should put that link up there for that show
Oh,
Mhm.
so everybody can go watch it. This lady was a hybrid.
Yeah, hybrid avatar,
Avatar.
Acturian.
Yes.
Yeah, she's on all these councils and with
Mhm.
the Lyrians, Andromedans, and something else. So they at the beginning of the show, I have that video that I made of her, and it really is her timeline. It really is every single thing about her, and then you'll see that. But that's on. Go to the Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, and it's like that whole thing. The Fox
Mhm.
Den with
Yeah.
Gina
I
B.
just put the links into the chat, and I'm gonna go and put it everywhere.
And then subscribe while you're there.
Yeah.
So, and that was amazing because not only are there entities out there, there are ETs out there, there are
Other beings and
so many other beings and parallel lives and
Mhm.
all of that.
Yeah,
So,
And we're
and just
protected.
because
We're being protected by negative things coming our way.
Yep.
mhm.
Through
And
her and her, her team.
right.
They work.
And just because something is inhuman does not make it demonic.
Right.
I will blanket that. I will die on that hill. I'm telling you. Everybody's like, inhuman means demonic. No, it doesn't.
No, it
No,
doesn't.
it doesn't.
No.
And
No,
I mean, we can all be demonic at some point. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
well, I'm a redhead and a scorpion.
Thank you, Lisa Love Light. Love you, sister.
Yeah. I mean, if you see me when at like 2:30 in the morning when I roll out of bed, it's awful.
there.
It's awful.
Yeah. It ain't
Yeah.
party.
Yeah, it's not demonic. I don't want to get up.
Sound like
She
that.
be demonic if you don't give her her coffee in the morning. Now, that's another
Yeah.
story. Yeah.
You'll see
No,
it even come out of me.
But before we go, I do have to with the demonic thing. When I was sick last March and I was on that investigation and I was like feeling horrible. I had laryngitis terribly, like my vocal cords were swollen, and I didn't realize it. I hadn't paid attention to it, but when I would breathe out, it sounded like a growl. And one of the girls next to me was new. It was one of her very first investigations.
It's a demon growl. Yeah.
So
It's
she kept
saying,
catching
"Oh my God, it's a demon!" It's
she
like
kept catching the growl on the recorder, and I'm like,
no,
that's me.
right,
And that's when I was like, I need to go to bed. I just need to
Right.
go to bed. So yeah.
Awesome.
And
Yeah,
then like
so
you
that's what
trust
I'm
your
saying.
instincts and stuff too, or bad things happen. Like I'll never go to Waverly because every time I tried to go to Waverly 5 or 6 times, someone died, something happened, I had to cancel the trip every
Yep.
single time.
Every
And it
time.
was not anything light, it was everything major. So
Yeah.
I am not meant to be at Waverly
Not going to
for
Waverly.
whatever reason.
Yep.
So I'm like, all right, for the sake of everybody around me that I love, I am not going to Waverly. I'm not risking anybody else. You know,
exactly.
I try to plan a trip there, so I won't.
So, Jess,
Mhm.
what is our next show? Our next show is in 2 weeks.
Mhm.
And who would that be?
Dr. Erin Bowman. She is a psychologist and spiritualist, witchy woman. She combines psychology and spirituality. Sometimes in her practice, depending on who clients are.
Yeah.
Phenomenal woman, very, very intelligent, wicked bright. She's very love and light. When you see her, she's very, like, I don't know, blonde and bright, and it just goes with everything. Is just so jolly with her. When she smiles, you just feel so at ease. And yeah, I absolutely love her. I love to pick her brain about different things because I love psychology and I love spirituality, and being able to mix that all together is just fascinating. And she can do it with grace and ease. So
So awesome. Catch us in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Yep.
And our next guest will be her. And also, go watch the Fox Den and the ladies of the Fox Den. They have some pretty awesome shows. And you never know when one of the ladies of the Fox Den will pop in on Soul Fire Ascension.
That would
She
be
did.
amazing. I love
We
it.
have an open door policy
Yes.
for both sides. So why
Yeah.
not?
Yep.
Sounds
Yep.
good.
And yes,
Absolutely.
you can pop in on some of our paranormal shows that we have.
Oh,
Although I don't have a lot,
love
but
that.
I just got another book. I booked her. It's a little teeny book, The Nature of Ghosts. This is going to be one of our guests.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I've got
Matrix.
let me get my food out the way here, but my shelf right here dedicated to all my ghosty books and creepy stuff and Ed and Lorraine Warren works and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've worked
And
with John. I know John very well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, met the Warrens.
Yep, absolutely.
Cemetery. Been to the museum. Been to John's museum. Yeah.
Yep.
But I have John's book is up there. I have some books.
I've been looking. I'm like, that is
I got a
incredible.
bunch of books over here. I got a bunch of books over here. So like the show's coming up.
Yep.
Down,
Oh, that's just the one little shelf in all my bookshelves.
down-
Like I've
down
got
below,
a whole bunch of them, but
Yeah.
that one
In the
shelf is just
library.
my ghost. So
Found it. What's she looking for?
She is looking for the link to our show, and our show is Soul Fire Ascension on YouTube.
on
Good.
YouTube. Yep.
I love you, Judith. She's a fabulous woman. She's a fabulous.
Yep.
So thank you.
It's been
to
awesome.
Gina B and Mama D.
Well, we thank you, Raven
our
and Jesse, for having us on. It's been awesome.
We love you.
Anytime.
We love our audience. So
Yep.
love and light to all. And we will see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you all. Appreciate it. We'll see you.